is remembering to give yourselves a break and to refrain from doing negativity and violence unto one's own self. Because quite frankly, I have a feeling, I don't know about you guys, but a large majority of the violence that is done today is unto ourselves, by ourselves, from ourselves. And so remember that you are a work in progress. And I want you to repeat after me. And I want you to breathe it in. I am a work in progress. I release all doubt today. Sing it. I am a work in progress. I release all doubt today. I am a work in progress. I release all fear today. I am a work in progress. I release all fear today. Living in the moment, trusting in the flow. You sing. Living in the moment, trusting in the flow. I am fully conscious as I just let go. You sing. I am fully conscious as I just let go. I am a work in progress. I release all pain today. I am a work in progress. Less than good all fades away. I am a work. Grateful for each moment from my heart and soul. I am fully able as I just let go. I am fully able as I just let go. I am a work in progress. I release all stress today. I am a work in progress. All the worry melts away. I am a work in progress. All the worry melts away. Living in the moment, trusting in the now. Trusting in the now. Everything will work out. I don't have to know how. I am a work in progress. I am a work in progress. Sing it with me. I am a work in progress. Sing it to your neighbor. I am a work in progress. Sing it to Chris in the sound booth. Work in progress. Sing it to the musicians. Sing it to me. I am a work in progress. I am a work in progress. Excellent. So I'm going to be hopping up and down a little bit today. I don't know, how many of you, by a raise of hands, how many of you have seen someone do a sermon in song before? Have you guys had that here before? Awesome. Good, good, good. So I'm going to be up and down a little bit. But to tell you a little bit about myself, I came into Unity, the teachings of Unity, back in the mid-'80s. And found it right after I had left my first college. I've been to 6 colleges and I'm still a freshman. I'm proud of that. I am certain that college was not the path for me now. But after that very first experience, I came home a little disappointed in the experience and a little disappointed in myself. And my mom, I lived in this great neighborhood with some phenomenal neighbors, lifelong friends. And one of our friends, Rosemarie Sardina, said, "Don't worry about a thing. I have found this church and you're going to love it." And I'm like, yes, I need something. And they took me, she and my mom took me to Atlanta Unity. And actually, today is my good friend John Strickland's retirement from Atlanta Unity. He wasn't the acting minister at the time, but I found Unity back in the 80s and started out as a musician, and then eventually started doing women's retreats and conferences and workshops, and worked my way into speaking at Unity churches. So today we're going to talk about the spectacular in all of us. And what is it, just by a show of hands, what is it that keeps us from our spectacular? Raise your hands. Let me give you what do you think? Yes. Negative thoughts. Doubt. Fear. Feeling less than, unworthiness. All these different things add up to take us away from our spectacularness. But there's a great phrase by Abraham Hicks, and it says they were doing a live thing at the Agape Center, Ricky Beebe and Michael Beckwith out in L.A., and it's back when Jerry was still alive, and Jerry and Esther were there, and Abraham came through them, and it's all about I think Jerry was still alive at that point. I'm not sure what year he passed. Oh, Jerry Hicks. Jerry Hicks. The husband and wife team that is Abraham, or is Hicks. And then the wife channels this energy, this universal collective energy called Abraham. And some of you may have heard of it. There are a lot of books out. But so Esther was on stage, and she was talking through Abraham, was talking about, does the little you, the individual you, match the vibrational level of the big you, which is universal whole collective consciousness? And if not, why not? And it goes through this whole passionate display of it. There isn't anything that can break your heart. There isn't anything that can bring you down or bog you down. There is nothing to the contrary. The only thing that can cause you pain and keep you from being you, little you, or big you, is you, little you. So it's all about connecting in our individual consciousness with that collective big you consciousness, and that's how we maintain our spectacularness. And really, maintaining your spectacularness is nothing more than just saying maintaining your consciousness, being connected into consciousness. And so right now, I want us to all stand. We're going to get into meditation in just a second here. But before we do that, I want us to do some declarative things. I want you to rub your hands together, place them gently on your heart, and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to myself for the miraculous state of my awesomeness, and to this core essence for which I stand, one power, which is love, with kindness and happiness for me. And so it is. You may be seated. So now let's take everything off of our lap, and let's very gently get into some meditation. Take a deep breath in. Hold it for a second. And repeat after me. I am empowered, strong, and full of life. Now you sing. I am empowered, strong, and full of life. And I know it's so, and I know it's so, and so it is, and so it is. Amen, amen. I am amazing, filled with sacred sight. Now you sing. And I know it's so, and I know it's so, and so it is, and so it is. Amen, amen. And now take that in. How often do we tell ourselves, I am empowered, strong, and full of life. I am amazing, filled with sacred sight. And I know it's so. Hope is wonderful. Belief is wonderful. Prayer is wonderful. And when we know that we know, everything changes. Everything transforms. We drop into that heart space where the divine, larger collective you comes through. Imagine that divine, collective, omniscient, all-powerful you right there in the center of your heart space as a glowing, bright coral orange-colored ember. And anytime we feel less than, anytime we need to check ourselves, anytime we are feeling tension within ourselves or coming from another individual, simply close your eyes and drop into that heart space where that ember always burns. And allow anything that is less than love to just gently drop into that ember. Let it be dissolved. Let it be transformed. And breathe into it. And the more you breathe into your heart space, the more you stoke that ember, the more you pump it and prime it. And you have that power to do that. No one else can do it for you. We have free will. I am empowered, strong, and full of life. Now you sing. I am empowered, strong, and I know it's so, and I know it's so, so it is, so it is. Amen, amen. I am amazing, filled with sacred sight. I am amazing, filled with sacred sight. It's so, and I know it's so, and so it is, so it is, and I know it's so, I know it's so, so it is, so it is, I know it's so, I know it's so, so it is, so it is. Amen, amen. Gently come back. And rub your hands together again. We're going to say 3 golden truths out loud together. Put your hands back on your heart. Stay seated. This is for the body, the mind, and the spirit, because we are threefold beings, trifold beings. Body, mind, spirit. So for the body, Actually, I want you to open your eyes. And I want you to say out loud, repeat after me, I am physically unique and miraculous. Now I want you to look at each other with your sassy finger and say, oh, yes, you are. Okay, here's another one. Hand back on your heart. This is for the mind. This is what I need the most. That ego. I am mentally focused and balanced. All right, say it to each other. Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. And now here's one more for the spirit. Breathe in. I am constantly spiritually evolving and growing. Together, I am constantly spiritually evolving and growing. And say, oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are. All right, band, I'm going to let you guys exit at this point. And I'm going to switch places real quick. So how's everybody feeling today? You doing okay? Feeling really good. I used to be music director at Unity of Gainesville, Georgia, and it was about an hour and a half drive. I live in Kennesaw, Georgia, which is North Georgia too, but there's a whole lot of wilderness in between the two. So I usually have to go down into Atlanta and then go back up to Gainesville. So the drive over here this morning was actually really great. It reminded me of my Unity of Gainesville days. And I really got to just kind of, I didn't chillax too much because I had my coffee, so I was wide awake. But it was kind of nice to just be able to go through the message and go through the songs and go through the whole layout of everything in my mind. It took me back to my Unity of Gainesville days. But so today we're talking about remembering our spectacular. And I think sometimes we do the most damage to ourselves when we beat ourselves up for not remembering our consciousness. And oftentimes there are going to be situations in your life where you are knocked off center. Or you go this way. And I call that the off-center cha-cha. It's like you get knocked down, cha-cha-cha. You get knocked down this way, oh, cha-cha-cha. It's like, hey, something's got a cosmic 2x4 is coming right at me. Oh. And sometimes you can get really good, and it's not like you're falling because you're falling. You're falling because you're dodging whatever's coming at you. And it's like, oh, cha-cha-cha. There we go. I'm right back. I meant for that to happen, and I'm right back, and I'm safe. So sometimes we can really get caught up in beating ourselves up. And the one thing that I really want to stress to you guys is that, again, we are trifold beings. We are body, mind, and spirit. And so we are dealing every second, every minute, every hour of the day, juggling those three things within our reality, within our individual reality. And so we're juggling that, and then we step out the door and come in contact with other humans. And all of a sudden, you're dealing with their reality and all the juggling of the plates and the balls and the life and the things that they're doing. Or, sometimes you find people that are juggling chainsaws, and you got to stay away from those people. But unless they're really good. And so I want you guys to always remember to give yourselves credit for the fact that you are actually maintaining your juggling of your body and your mind and your spirit on a day-to-day basis. And yes, some days are better than others. Some days, I would give myself an A+. Some days I show up and I am absolutely spot on my game. And then there are those days, I call them the stupid days. Not to be judgmental, but every once in a while, some people call it Mercury in retrograde days. But there are times in your lives when it just seems like everyone you talk to, oh my gosh, this day is ridiculous. Man, my day is ridiculous too. It must be a stupid day today. But here's how I look at it. I come from a family of teachers, and so I saw my grandparents grading papers, and they would talk about their classrooms and stuff. We'd go there every weekend, and they would share a lot of their work with us. My grandfather was a high school band director, and my grandmother was an elementary school teacher. And so I look at my days as, sometimes I have a day where I give myself an A+. There are some situations in my life where I give myself a big fat F. There are some days that are a B. They're about average. And then there are some days that are kind of, depressed, or things aren't going all the way flowing and perfect and right. Maybe that's a C day or a D day. But here's the good news. All of those grades, no matter how because we grade ourselves and we judge ourselves every single day. It's what we do. We're human. Some people call it judgment. Some people call it discernment. But any way you slice it, you judge a situation. Oh man, that situation is awesome. That's an A+. This situation, I don't ever want to deal with that situation again. That was an F. The good news is, no matter how you grade yourself on a daily basis, all of those letters, an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F, they're all in the musical scale. And so they're all part of the song of your life. All of it creates the tapestry and the melody of your life. And it's how you get back up from an F day or a D day or a C day. It's how you pick yourself up. What is it? Pick yourself up and then start all over it. Dust yourselves off. It's all how you pick yourself up, dust yourself off, and start all over again. Because by the grace of God, every day is new. And anytime you get out of bed, it's a new beginning. Two of my good friends are certified practitioners for Spiritual Living Center Atlanta in downtown Atlanta. And we went out to lunch after church one day, and Shasta and Scott told me about this method called pranic healing. And so imagine you get out of your house. You're fine when you get out of bed and you've had your coffee or your tea or do whatever you do in the mornings before you leave your home. And then you come in contact with life and other people's realities. And phew, imagine like Spider-Man Homecoming, the new movie just came out. So imagine strings of, kind of like spider web kind of, strings of attachment go out to everything you encounter every day. You're pulling out of the driveway. You accidentally hit the trash can that's at the end of the driveway. Pew! String of attachment. You just had a tiff with your child or with your pet or with your significant other. Pew! String of attachment. You get to work, or you get to your volunteer thing or your community thing that you did, or you go shopping. You're sitting in traffic. Pew, 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 pew. So by the end of the day, you come home, and all of these strings of attachment have gone out all day long. Well, do you guys clear yourselves every day? Let me just show you the thing to do then. So you gather all those, and they're all coming out of the core of your being. But pretend like they're all coming out of right here in your core chakra right here. All these strings of attachment. So what you do is you just gather them all together like the strings of a balloon, and like rock, paper, scissors. Get your scissors. And it may seem like a silly little exercise to do, but I'm telling you something, people. I've started doing this for the past 2 years since Shasta and Scott told me about it. And sometimes these physical, because we are physical beings, and this mental and physical exercise is sometimes what we humans need to actually release things out of us. People are like, well, it's nice for you to say release things and let go of things and throw things away, but how do you do that? This is one of those mindfulness exercises. Thich Nhat Hanh talks about mindfulness exercises that you can do. And this is merely one of them. And so I get all of those attachments, and then you know what I do? Because in case I skipped a day or I forgot something or something came back to me, I grab stuff from behind me too and add it to the strings and let it all go. And as soon as you do that, it's gone. Just imagine that it's just gone. One of many, many mindfulness exercises that you can do. So part of that attachment and cutting those attachments on a daily basis is forgiveness. Forgiving those around you, forgiving. You don't always necessarily forget. And just because you forgive a situation, I'm sure you all know, it doesn't mean you have to forget that it happened. It doesn't mean that it was okay that whatever happened that was negative happened. It just means that you are forgiving you're releasing the power that thing or that person or that situation has over you. That's what forgiveness is all about. And so I have a song called Forgiveness. Hold on just a minute, Chris. And I want you guys to sing it with me. So we're working constantly with forgiving those around us, My dad just passed away July of last year, and there were a lot of unresolved things. And I think I can talk about this now without crying. But my sister and I happened to be there in the hospital room on either side of him right at midnight when he transitioned. And it had been an all-day process. It was very quick. And everyone else had gone home. His wife, Arlene, had gone home. It was just my sister and I. And we really didn't know my dad very well. He was gone most of our lives. And so it was kind of a distant relationship. Not an awful relationship, just distant. And so there were a lot of things that never got resolved. He had cancer, and he went pretty quickly by the grace of God and didn't suffer a lot. But he was pretty much towards the end. And Beth had one hand, and I had the other hand, and I looked at Dad, and I just took a deep breath in. I said, Dad, I love you. And I kind of nodded to my sister, and she's like, I love you. I said, Dad, I forgive you for everything. And Beth looked at me, and her eyes got real big. And I nodded to her, and she's like, I forgive you too. And I said, Dad, I ask you to please forgive me for my part of anything in this life. That's like, me too. And I'm not even kidding you. 2 minutes later, he was gone. And we had been there for a few weeks with him. Had never talked about anything out loud, just dealing with the condition at hand and playing it minute by minute with as much love and being as present, keeping things as positive, not bringing up the past, and just keeping it as positive as we could. And there is something very powerful in forgiving that then allows, suddenly so much stuff falls away. It's like the word kenosis, the Greek word, where everything else falls away, and suddenly you've created space for love to enter in and for God consciousness and the big U consciousness to enter in. So this song goes, I forgive you, I forgive all the heartache that we have come to know. We'll do it like 500 times. You'll get it. So, but here's the deal. So I'm kind of making it up as I go. I forgive you. I forgive all the heartache we have come to know. And then I forgive me. I forgive me. Because I know a higher way is waiting to be shown. So just listen to it. You can sing along with it next time it comes around. I forgive you. I forgive all the heartache we have come to know. I forgive what happens when you released it and then like a week later it comes back? Well, then you just do your daily pranic healing, boop, 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 and you find mindfulness exercises. I came up with something a lot of things come to me as I'm coming out of my dream state. So I always keep a pen and paper by my bed now. Yeah, as I've been writing songs and now as I've been speaking, the thoughts, the words come to me. And sometimes melodies and entire songs do. But I was laying in bed one night, and something in me, I was trying to release something, and it was something about Dad. And I'm like, man, why do you keep obsessing about this? You already let this go like 20 times, and it keeps coming back to you. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to breathe into it. But then you're trying to fall asleep in the monkey chatter. But what about this? What about that? Remember that? And then something, the big you, came from within me and said gently, Spirit knows what needs to go so I can live in perfect flow. My eyes flew wide open. I'm like, I better write that one down because that's a phrase that pays. Spirit knows what needs to go so I can live in the flow. That's not exactly what I just said, but it's the same basic thing. Trust God, trust Spirit, trust universal collective energy. Because a lot of times we are trying to find answers to problems. We are trying to be part of the solution. And sometimes it's really better for us to just gently step aside and let universal collective big you, woo! They know everything. Universal collective consciousness knows everything. They know all sorts of, I say they, the collective energies of the world. Collective spirit knows ways and paths and shortcuts or processes that you may not even in your human brain be able to think of. And so when you're obsessing and trying to analyze, and I was talking with one of the gals this morning, and I'm a Virgo, and so I'm always trying to type A, analyze everything and obsessively figure everything out, and sometimes you're just not going to do it. And you have to step aside and just gracefully say, okay, doing the cha-cha. And one of those things when you're down is when you're stuck in the muck and you're trying to figure it out and you just keep getting further and further and further down in the mire. And what happens when you get stuck that far down? You have to surrender. You just have to. How far down do you have to get before you realize that it's time to surrender it and quit trying to figure everything out? And so then once you surrender it, it's all about allowing the space to remain clean and allowing your mental part of you to chill out, allowing the physical part of you to be still. Peace, be still. It says so right over there on the wall. Allowing is a huge part of connecting with your spectacular or connecting with your consciousness. I allow myself. Okay. I do allow myself. I've said it to myself enough times now, I'm finally starting to get it. And when I start to go south, allowing has been a big word for me. Remembering that you are worth it. You are worth it. All of us are worthy. Can I get an amen? That's what I love about unity and New Thought teachings. We're already worthy. We're born worthy. And we remain worthy. And all of us are equally worthy. Man, woman, LBGTQ, whatever the ABCDEFG, all of it. We're all worthy. We're all worthy. And it's a matter of allowing. And so sometimes we don't let things happen. And we don't allow good to come to us. We block it because we don't allow it to come to us or come through us. So the next song that I'm going to sing for you is called I Allow Myself. And it talks about what is freedom? Is it here now? Sometimes we don't realize that we're already free. We create these chains, these attachments that bind us. We create them ourselves. And we have the key to unlock them. It's another sing-along because I don't like to sing all by myself. I like you guys to sing with me. I allow myself Is it here now? Sometimes it doesn't feel like it. What is real? What is fantasy? Because sometimes it's hard to figure that out. Oh, it's a mystery why we hold ourselves down. Can we rise above and let our spirits sing? I know we can. Oh, I allow myself. Can you sing it with me? I allow myself. Oh, I'm choosing freedom. I'm ready to let it on in. As I begin to live my life anew. And oh, it's a mystery why it takes me so long. But I'm choosing now to set my spirit free. Now sing it with me, you know it. Oh, I allow myself. You can kind of put your arms next to you and your palms up. Oh, I allow myself. Well, when are you going to allow yourself? At what point are you going to allow yourself? Now is the place, and now is the time. I choose to simply be. I allow myself. I allow myself. I allow myself here and now. Can you say that with me? I allow myself. You can even just say, I allow myself. I allow myself. I allow myself here and now. I allow myself here and now. It feels good to allow yourselves, doesn't it? Maybe it's a little foreign to you. But don't be afraid to allow and open yourself to new things. One of the biggest things that keeps us from our spectacularness is getting stuck in a rut. Because it's all great and wonderful when you've been knocked down. And sometimes when you get knocked down, you need to stay there for a while. But then eventually you get back up, you get in your strength again, and you have to remember to open yourself to the good that is coming your way. So I invite all of you to do what makes your heart sing and to follow your bliss. Because following your bliss, as Deepak says, and many people say, following your bliss is yet another way to open up your spectacular channel, to connect from the little you to the big you, doing what makes your heart sing. I'm almost done. It's almost 12 o'clock, and it's like, oh, there's so much to share. And then so the illusion of so little time. But this last point I want to make before we move forward and conclude with the service. Doing things as simple as taking a walk during the day, or reading a book, or learning how to crochet or do needlework. Learn something new. Sign up at a community college or an online school and just take a class. You don't have to go back and finish your degree. Don't put that stuff on yourself. But if you're bored and you're complacent, boredom leads to complacency, which then can turn to resentment. Discontent can turn to resentment very quickly. And so I urge you and passionately urge you to find something that makes your heart sing so that you can follow your bliss, because it's a constant cycle. It's a constant cycle of, okay, sometimes you're going to absorb things, but then you have to let them go. And you have to allow good things to come in, but sometimes the other stuff comes in with it, and you have to let it go. It's a constant cycle of ingesting and then putting it back out there. Breathing in, breathing out. It's the very core purpose of our being. Having it enter in, having it enter out. So I was going to say I inspire you. I encourage you to be inspired and to learn something new and to do what makes your heart sing. Let's do what makes our heart sing, using all the gifts we have to bring into this world today. Let's do what makes our heart sing, celebrate that special thing that keeps us dancing on our way. 'Cause life's too short to settle for less, so tell me why on earth would we do that? We don't want to find 10 years down the line that we chose to give in to compromise. So let's do what makes our heart sing, using all the gifts we have to bring into this world today. Let's do what makes our heart sing, celebrate that special thing that keeps us dancing on our way. 'Cause it's our duty to recognize the beauty of seemingly simple moments that go by. And it's our given right to shine our inner light, find a way to live a happy life. Oh, now is the time to free our minds. And what makes our heart sing, using all the gifts we have to bring into this world today. Let's do what makes our heart sing, celebrate that special thing that keeps us dancing on our way. So when you leave out of here this afternoon, I want you to feel strong and confirmed and validated, and know that it's up to you to connect into your inner spectacular, and you can do it 24/7 by forgiving, by allowing, by releasing, by letting go, by doing what makes your heart sing. That is all a juggling act that helps us be spectacular. Do what makes your heart sing. Just do what makes your heart sing. Let's do what makes our heart sing. Let's do what makes our heart sing. Put your hands together. Let's do what makes our heart sing. Let's do what makes our heart sing. This is the last time. Let's do what makes our heart sing. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone.